Hey guys, we're going to talk today about the Skilhunt H15 headlamp. This is a very interesting little headlamp, and I actually got a lot to say about it and a lot to go over, so this is going to be a bit of a long video. But this is kind of a very feature-packed and very useful headlamp, so hopefully you guys stick around for this. This is sent to me by Gearbest.com, and I'll put a link below in the description. Quite a nice little light. Let's go over the numbers. This thing can either take a AA battery or a lithium-ion 14500. Run times, of course, are going to be different between the two. It has 4 modes: low, mid, high, turbo, with a hidden strobe. Now, with a 14500 battery, your low mode is 3 lumens for 100 hours. Yes, 5 whole days on low mode. Mid is 50 lumens for 8.5 hours. High is 150 lumens for 3 hours. And turbo is 450 lumens for 1.5 hours. But it does have a 2-minute step down, so after 2 minutes, it is going to dim itself down on its own, just to help protect the light and to help keep you from over draining your lithium-ion batteries. AA's, 3 lumens for 80 hours, 50 lumens for 8.5 hours, 135 for 3 hours, and 215 for 2 hours. It is the beam distance is said to be 77 meters, impact resistant for falls for 1 meter, and waterproof to IPX8 standards. Now, here is the headband that it comes with. As you can see, it's kind of an awkward color. I don't know if I like the blue and yellow. I just kind of prefer plain black. It attaches in with friction, just kind of slips on through these little tubes here. And so that way you can spin it around, turn it whatever angle you want. The headband, it's normal, average, ordinary headband, very comfortable. Everything's very soft and padded and all that, so it's comfortable to wear. Light also comes with a lanyard, pocket clip, and some extra O-rings. As you can see, this light is a 90-degree light, which is really cool. It also has a magnetic tail cap, so if you're working on your car or doing anything like that, this is also extraordinarily useful. And it's a pretty strong magnet. Yeah, you can knock it off, but it takes an effort. It holds pretty strong. Clicky is on top. And how this thing works is just click it on, and you will cycle through the modes as you click: low, medium, high, and back down to low, medium, high, turbo. To turn it off, you hold in, and it will turn it off. Now, from the off mode, a double click turns you directly to turbo. Of course, your off is to hold again. Turn this thing on. And it does have a memory mode. The memory does not include strobe, though. While it's on, double click brings you to strobe. So, like I said, there's a memory mode for the low, mid, high, turbo, just not the strobe. So that is pretty cool. And you'll also notice as well, it has the locator beacon feature for it. So basically, if you're taking this thing out camping, using it in your car, whatever, and you set this thing down, after using it, you're going to have a nice blinking LED that will let you find it. I know some people are going to say, well, that's annoying, and I don't want to use that, and it's just going to run down my battery. Okay, it's very easy to turn off. All you do, give your tail cap a little half a twist, and it's off. That simple. Piece of cake. But it is a nice feature. Of course, you turn your flashlight on, throw it down in your car. Oh, where'd my flashlight go? Back on. So I think that's really cool. The beam is a very floody beam, so it's a very spread out, diffuse beam. As you can see, there is a textured diffusion lens on the front of this, so this spreads a very wide, diffuse beam over a big area. At 500 lumens, I took this out in the backyard. I could see my fire pit from about 50 yards away. I could definitely see any people or animals within that 50-yard distance. No problem. It's a very wide beam, so it lights up my whole backyard, which is kind of cool. I find it to be really useful for backpacking and camping. I like, if I'm using it up close, maybe I'm making a fire, kindling, walking down a trail, I like to have that big, wide beam like that. So this, to me, is a very useful flashlight as a backpacker. Plus, it has a really simple, easy-to-use interface, and that locator beacon. I think this is a really good flashlight to bring along on the trail. It's small battery, a lot of output, great runtime. This is a flashlight you could bring, and it's bright enough to find your way in the dark. but it's also got a really good low mode to where if you like reading at night, you can read and not kill your battery. So that's pretty cool. And but everyday household use, this is a pretty good pocket EDC flashlight as well. This is a really diverse flashlight. It does a lot of things well. And plus, if you're using it around the garage, you're using it on your car, you do have that magnetic tail cap. You can stick it to your fridge to find it nice and easy in case of a power outage and all that. And plus, hey, if you're out backpacking and you have one of those little fancy solar chargers, you can charge this thing up, the batteries up, as you go along in the woods. So that is pretty cool. Low voltage. It does have a low voltage turn off. I tested it and it did start blinking at 3.55 volts. So with lithium ions, you don't want to over discharge them. This thing, when you're running it, when it hits 3.55 volts, the locator beacon up top will start blinking while the flashlight's on. It'll be a little bit of a faster blink than this, but it will let you know. Inside, internally, the end here is recessed, so you are going to need the button top protected 14500 batteries. Just a little FYI there. Everything is kind of interesting in the way it's built. It has the tube separates from the head and the tail cap separates from all that. But the lens is held on with little tiny screws, the same size ones that would be in your eyeglasses, as well as your switch up top. So if you need to make any repairs or anything like that, you can pull this thing apart very easily, which I'm sure with the people out there who love modifying flashlights, that's going to be very big and very important to them. So a lot of use, guys. I really am digging this 90-degree light thing. In my testing of this, I found it to be extraordinarily useful. Number one, it fits in the pocket very well. And the pocket clip, it's a really nice, strong pocket clip. And the pocket clip is really what makes this such an interesting and awesome little light, is because it gives you a lot of versatility. Now, of course, you can wear it as a headlamp. But you know what? For me, when I'm out in the woods, I'm out backpacking, I'm not going to wear a headlamp all day, so they end up in your backpack. Then nighttime creeps up on you, and you're like, oh crap. Digging through your backpack, you got to find it, put it on. I like this because I can just put it in my pocket and go. And then later on, if I want to turn it into a headlamp, I can just stash that anywhere and use it at any time. But it also gives you a good hands-free flashlight, just like you have a headlamp. This fits very well into a shirt pocket. And of course, when you have it in a shirt pocket, all that's going to stick out is the clicky and the LED. So you can turn it on without ever taking it out of your shirt pocket. You can clip it to the shoulder straps on your backpack, the hip belt on your backpack. You can even put this in your pocket. And the cool thing about this is for your jeans pocket, if you rotate this clip around so it's almost in the front, you can put this in your pants pocket, and this will basically stick out just enough where you can use this without taking it out of your pocket. So it does give you a truly hands-free pocketable flashlight, which I think is just the neatest thing. I turned that around like that and was walking around in my backyard just to kind of see it. And it's such a wide beam that even though it's right there in your pants pocket, it really lights up well, and you can walk around if you're using both your hands for something and have that right in your jeans pocket and use it. And you don't have to take it out, you don't have to move it, you don't have to do anything but a slight adjustment of the tail cap or of the pocket clip to make that work. I think that's just really cool. And plus, this clip is strong enough where you can very easily, it holds onto a cotton shirt. Just take a cotton, thin cotton or nylon shirt, and it holds very strongly to it. It's not going to fall out, just randomly. Most flashlights don't have a pocket clip that can hold on to a cotton shirt or a nylon shirt. I think that's really cool as well. There are some ways I did experiment with hooking this up to the brim of a cap, but it's going to give you some weird angles, and it's not the most efficient way to do it, but it will work. You can't put it on the brim of a cap. You just kind of put it into the side at a weird angle and all that jazz. You can, of course, hang it from a necklace or do whatever you want. That clip is reversible, so there's a lot of options for how you can carry this. But I really, really am impressed with the ability to put that clip around and put it in your pocket and have that light facing forward as you walk. So I definitely think, excuse me, this is going to see a lot more use as a pocket EDC light than it's ever going to see as a headlamp. just because of that reason. I like that. I'm really hooked on that hands-free. And as a camping light, a backpacking light, bushcraft light, whatever, I really like it. It's that really nice, diffuse, wide beam, spreads out, for when you're doing close-up work, and that locator beacon. I know I've dropped flashlights a million times in the woods and been hunting by feel for them in the dark. I don't like that. I like that beacon turns on after you turn it off. It's very reassuring in a light when you're going to be out miles and miles in the woods to know that if you drop it, you'll be able to find it. So pretty cool. This thing, Skilhunt, I'm not, this is my first Skilhunt, and I'm very impressed with it. And I think competition-wise, it's doing very well. If you look at the price, this is about in the mid-40s. Now, when it comes to 14500 headlamps, there's not a ton on the market. Just a small handful. And you're pretty much going to find two things. One are the cheap $5 eBay lights, which are like the zoomable, headlamps. And they're just headlamps. You can't take them out and use them as a pocketable flashlight. They're $5, they're cheap. Yeah, they're inexpensive and they'll make do, but you're not getting anywhere near the quality. Now the other lights, there's a Zebra light, there's a Phoenix, there's I think an X-Tar, there's a couple other flashlights very similar to this that are headlamps, but they're all more expensive than this. So this is the least inexpensive 14500 headlamp on the market that isn't, the cheap $5 eBay ones. So I think it's really neat, and I like to be able to get the best value, and that's why I was so impressed with this. It is the best value on the market when it comes to this style and this type of light. Really good quality, waterproof, shockproof, all that jazz. Skilhunt, their warranty seems to be like, replace within 15 days, free repair 24 months within purchase, limited lifetime warranty if problems develop after 24 months. We charge for replacement parts, decent warranty. What more can you ask for in a light than to know that you're going to be well taken care of if there's any problems at all. Plus I do like, the whole construction of this thing. We'll pull this apart real quick before we get out of here. I know I'm already running pretty long. Of course you got your O-rings, that's going to make it waterproof. The threads are anodized, so that allows you to back out the tail cap a little bit to lock the light out, which is nice. The tail spring is held in with those little tiny screws as well, so if you need to remove that or replace it, you can put a new one in, and it's held in place just with those little tiny screws. Take that battery out. Tube, pull the clip off. Almost done here, guys. You see it's got really good texturing for heat management. This thing does not get very hot at all. So the inside of the tube is anodized as well. As you can see, all the threads all along are anodized, O-rings all around. And as I mentioned, the driver, that tab is recessed. So you're going to need a button top style 14500, which has that little button. So did want to mention that. So overall, this is a really cool light for the price, I think. Yeah, it's expensive. $45 for a flashlight is expensive. I am not going to kid you the slightest bit. But I think when it comes down to it, this is a light that has a very good and diverse ways of using it. I think this thing could be a dynamite EDC light. I think it could be a fantastic, backpacking, camping flashlight. As I mentioned, how I said, all it takes is a little turn, and you're backed out and locked out. You don't have to worry about any voltage drain or anything like that, and that's due to the threads being anodized. So that is cool. So I think, quality-wise, for the money, you're talking a decent, you do have to pay for good quality, and I think with the thought and the extra bells and whistles that went into this makes this a much better deal than your $5 cheapo. So I think it's definitely worth looking at. I know $40 is a lot to it's a lot to spend on a flashlight. I know. I mean, I've struggled as much as you guys with money, and but in the end, over the years, how many of those $5 headlamps have I bought? Probably a dozen. In the end, I've just kind of learned, that buy once, cry once. There's a lot of things you can get budget, but sometimes you know, with the way I use things and how hard I am on flashlights, I've just gotten to the point where I've got to buy the good ones because I'm just tired of them breaking non-stop on me. So if you're looking for a good quality headlamp that uses lithium ions, this may be the guy for you.